Good morning. So, we're over here at the Elderberries, and we're taking a look, hunting for stalks that have been damaged by borers. So, we've got a couple of good candidates here. This one, this big one that's knocked over, this one is just prolific, and that's what we like. Find a couple of branches in here that we can take. Like this one is crossing and weighing down the rest of the plant. That's a lot of cutting right there. We might be good with that. You can see on this softwood cutting, evidence of boring damage. So out of that, we got 5 Adams elderberry cuttings. We got 12 Johns with 4 hardwood and 8 softwood. So we're back out on the hillside. The mint cuttings that we put in yesterday are looking well. I was a little bit worried about putting this full plant in with no pruning, but it looks absolutely fine. So we'll keep that in mind, and all the little cuttings that have their little leaves still looking good. I think I'm going to start at the steepest portion here and just start sticking these cuttings. Really like to stabilize this bottom section first before I do any work in moving any of this dirt. I just mixed the cuttings in this bucket of water. See, some of these cuttings are a little questionable, whereas others should do pretty well. So we'll get these in and see how it looks. So you can see little bits of green here. These are the elderberry that I've planted, and you can see just how poor some of this dirt is that I've exposed. But as far as sticking them goes, super easy. Elderberry is one of those plants that is really good at spreading through its root system, rhizomally, I think is how you say it. But what that means is it's gonna spread out all throughout these areas, send up new suckers and new shoots if these establish. So I feel pretty good about these establishing, and I did some questionable cuttings like that were a little bit thin, and I'm curious to see just how effective they are. You can see this one has way too much foliage on top. So what we're going to do is just trim this back to reduce the amount of moisture that this plant loses while it's trying to establish its roots. I know it might seem counterintuitive to be cutting off its solar panels when it needs to make some energy to put in its roots, but retaining the water is more important at this stage. That's why we cut most of the leaves back. It just needs a couple of leaves to act as sensors to tell the plant where it's at, where it needs to grow. Too much of that will certainly lead to this drying out and definitely dying. Little seedlings that are popping up, little oak seedlings, and some regrowth happening on what looks like an ash tree right here. We're already making good strides here. We've got some wildflowers put in, and the ferns are staying persistent. I think they've had a hard time establishing up on this hill when the canopy was all the way over. This canopy is all evenly aged. The shade that is cast in this forest is super dark, so I think a lot of younger stuff, pioneer species and such, have been having a hard time establishing on this hill because they've just been so shaded out. I think the edge of the shade is probably right where these ferns are. So with more sun on this hill, I think we'll be able to stabilize it pretty easily. Kind of collect all that. There we go. That's some elderberry cuttings put in for today, and we'll check back on these and see how they do in a couple of days. Thanks for watching.